Hello, folks. Welcome to yet another edition of our Travel Insights with veterans of the travel trade. It is COVID times. We are in the lockdown. We are locked up in our houses, but that hasn't dimmed the enthusiasm of the team at the DOPE. So we continue to bring you content on the video conference mode instead of a face-to-face. Our guest today is a gentleman whose story is what movies are made of. A true rags to riches story of Mr. Ramesh Babu, who is in a way an inspiration to many people around. Mr. Babu started his journey as a barber on Brigade Road in Bangalore, in a saloon, which he inherited from his late father. The saloon was called the Inner Space. At that point of time, he purchased a Maruti Omni vehicle and he started renting that out to others for their personal use at a charge. And that's where his journey in the travel industry began. And that was the turning point in his life. His reputation grew and soon he increased his fleet. And by the end of 1990, he was running a very successful taxi operation business in the name of Ramesh Tours and Travels. So welcome, Mr. Ramesh. Welcome to this episode of Travel Insights. And quite an interesting story, but do tell us a little bit about your past and your journey in the travel industry so far.
Good evening, everyone. This is Ramesh here. I started my career as a barber, as Amit sir had told me. He has said few words of my history already. So let me brief something. I started as a barber in 90s. So 3 years I was only in the barber category. Then I had bought a Maruti van for my personal purpose, but I was not able to pay my EMIs. I started renting out. So that is how I got into car rental business with a small Omni van. That was my success business, I can tell you. After my saloon business, my travel business took up very well. With a single car, till 2004, I had about close to 70 cars. Then slowly market started growing and things were doing very well. I got into luxury car rentals and rent-a-cab, self-drive vehicles, so that market was doing very well at that time. But ups and downs was there always, but not as this Corona has done us. Like it's totally totally down. There's no up at all past 2 months, and we are in a very bad position. I want to tell you. Anyhow, let me tell a few things of how I grow. I grow in a very tough manner. Always downs and ups were there. But I started with a single car. As I told you right now, I think we are the leading car rentals company in South India. Maybe all India also. But I run the most luxury cars in the country. And I cater to all hoteliers, delegation, all diplomats who come to India, and etc. But right now I have about close to 600 vehicles in my fleet with 385 staffs. That's drivers, 385 drivers plus my staffs, about 48 staffs are there. So totally about 400 plus staffs I take care. So this is the journey a little bit. Already you have told me everything. You have told everything. So I see.
How would you decide on when and how much to increase your fleet? Say you had 20 cars today, and what made you decide, okay, fine, I'm buying another 10 or I'm buying another 12? Was it just based on demand, or was it based on future projections, or how was it?
It was, I can tell you, in two ways. Like the requirement started growing.
Okay.
The requirement was almost doubling, tripling sometimes. So on the requirement basis, we started buying cars. And one small instant I can tell you, luxury cars were not available in India. For getting a Mercedes for a day, we have to book in advance, 2 months, 3 months advance to only one vendor had. That too was a used car he had kept for luxury cars. So one instant happened. One day I had a car from that guy, said I wanted on this day. Hero Honda chairman came. So I had the car, airport pickup happened. On the way, the car broke down. Mercedes car.
Oh my God.
So that made me to buy a Mercedes. That day I said I am going to have a luxury car in my fleet, at least one or two. but right now we have about 150 cars of only luxury cars. So that instant made me to buy luxury car. So that time I bought
And
one
that's
car.
where your journey with the
Journey-
high-end luxury car.
Yes. Exactly as I bought that first car, the second car I bought within 3 months. So
Wow.
that is why I started
And
buying.
do you always buy new cars?
Yeah, always I buy
The
a new
vehicles
car.
you buy? Always. Now, another thing, what are the kind of government rules and regulations? Did you have to face any hurdle when you were starting this in terms of self-drive rentals and things like that, or was it quite comfortable and there was no problem?
Sir, I had a major problem with not self-drive, being the life tax, where all commercial vehicle is a quarter tax we have to pay on the vehicle, road tax. Suddenly government implemented you have to pay life tax, whereas very badly hurt in 2011. Very bad means very bad. So I have to pay. They gave me a time of 6 months to pay about 3.78 crores. That's a huge money.
Huge amount, yes.
Very huge amount. Before that implemented, I bought a Rolls Royce Ghost also into my car. 2011. Jan I bought this. In the March they implemented the life tax on this. That was one instant, and the other instant was this self-drive was a good business to do, but I'll not advise anyone to do business on self-drive. The reason
Why
behind
is that?
this, whoever takes the car doesn't treat the car as his own car. People use it in all manners. So self-drive, no one takes for a long time.
Okay.
Only few customers. I can tell you only 2-3% are long LTRs, long-term leasings. The rest is ad hoc requests only. Ad hoc requests are every day checked and sent out of my garage. Self-drive cars, whatever you give for long-term, all cars have been serviced at the service center. Regular interval, whatever service period has to be done by the dealer itself. And we have a system every Saturdays is our general checkup goes for all our cars from basic to.
So that's good. So that's
yeah.
And another thing, just this is out of curiosity.
Sir.
Have you had any instances where someone has taken a car from you and run away with it?
Yes, sir. I had one instant. A customer. It's a long story. I recovered the car in 6 days.
That's not so bad. I was just wondering if someone takes a car and goes.
No, it's a very high-end car he took away. It's a Toyota Camry.
Oh, my
brand new car. 3 months. It was 5 months old car. It's a brand new car. Done about 6,000 kilometers. He stolen, man. He stole means
And how did you catch him?
So he diverted my driver and took the car and went. The only one call he had made to my mobile, my driver's mobile, that helped me to track him wherever he's going on. He had 7 SIM cards with him, but he used only one mobile.
So, like they say, every criminal makes a mistake, and you caught him on that.
Yes.
Coming to the current situation, the COVID-19 and the coronavirus, the entire travel and tourism industry is down on its knees. How much has it impacted your business?
So very bad, and I can tell you, we are close to every day. We used to operate about 250 to 400 bookings per day, and you can guess how much vehicle utilization are there. Recently, we don't have a single booking, except God grace, government is using about 40 vehicles of mine for code.
Oh, so that's lucky. Yeah.
19, lucky health department, and lot of consulates are using for transporting their citizens, US or German, Mexican, UAE, Malaysian consulates, and all those people are shipping them back to their country. For that, they are using it. No other business is there.
Otherwise, there's just no other business.
No other business.
So, what are you doing with your employees, your drivers? So many of them, because you must be having at least one driver per car, probably. So,
yes,
what
sir.
happens at a time like
this? So most of the drivers are gone to the native places, and presently there are over 60 drivers with me. I'm just giving them food, sir. And for the month of every day I'm feeding them, plus in the month of for the month salary somehow I managed to pay March salary. I don't know how to pay them April salary because no
Becomes
fund is there,
difficult.
no funds are there. It's very difficult, and in this situation it's going to be extended for another 1 month. We are gone.
What do you think? I mean, do you think the government would come across and have, considering that that the drivers are people who obviously are sustaining families out of this income, and yes, anyone can understand that it's a very high cost for you. So obviously you can't take it out of your pocket. So do you expect the government to come out with some kind of help, some kind of subsidy?
Yesterday we are on a meeting with my colleagues and discussing how to go about. We had given some proposal to the government persons like transport commissioner and transport minister and our CM also. We're going to give to the CM. So we have asked them to at least help us paying the driver's salary at least in some form. So we are given a request for 7,000 rupees per driver, at least 50% of the basic salary, plus driver's one. And we are asked the government to waive off 2 quarters of tax, the road tax what we pay. Because our state is I can tell you, we pay highest tax in the country. Karnataka is the highest collection of road tax in India.
Right.
And one more, insurance, because we are not using our vehicles, but we have to pay insurance. So we are told them to extend our insurance by another 6 months. So these proposals have been already given. Let's see. I hope so. He does a good decision on this.
And what about I don't know if you buy the cars on loans or EMIs or something of that kind. What happens over there?
Sir, EMIs I think a mandatory period are given, but the charging interest on that's ridiculous.
So that is going to make it a lot more expensive at the back end.
Yes, sir. Even that also we have told them, you charge interest, charge as a borrowing rate interest.
Right.
I know you had borrowed money, bank has also borrowed money from someone. We can't tell them to pay off fully. As a courtesy thing, at least borrowing rate you charge. Borrowing rate is about 5.7 to 6% only, where we pay about 9% interest on car loans. So at least if they reduce by 3%, that will help a lot for us.
So, but then do you feel these measures would come to you from the state government, or will they come from the central government?
So state government has to propose these bank and the insurance thing, and all decisions should be taken by the central government. And the tax matter, I think state government has to take.
The road tax, of course. Yeah, because
yes.
State subject.
Yes.
So this is being done by an association of operators of vehicles. So do you have an association like that?
So Bangalore, we have close to about 6 to 7 associations. So we all joined together. We had a meeting yesterday. So I'm the treasurer also, one of the association. So I told this, let us plan like this, because we can't ask government to waive off everything. Because they run on this also.
Yes.
Even the tax part, I said, if the government gives for 3 months, take it. We'll propose for 6 months, because they are also depending on this money. So 3 months way off also will be very good for us. I've told this. Let us see, sir, what's going to happen.
So basically, road taxes, insurance premium, considering that the car is not being used. So why should it be charged?
Yes.
And of course, then subsidized interest and salaries to be subsidized to a certain extent.
Yes.
So once again, it comes down to working capital. All everyone needs in this industry today is working capital, so that we can meet our expenses for the next 3 months by the time the business starts.
Yes.
You deal with consulates and most of the consulates in Bangalore.
Yes,
so
sir.
Over there, do you have any kind of specific protocols to maintain in terms of service and what are the kind of security protocols that you need to follow?
So definitely there are a lot of protocols where we have to maintain a car, no scratches on the car, first of all, and it should be clean and hygienic, and service history sometimes they ask you, and the validity of all the documents are given to them, validity of the driver details are given. All this once we give to our consulate, they pass it on to a security officer, and that will go to the state government or security thing. They sometimes cross verify all these documents, license, and sometimes they visit the spot also of their office and the vehicle also.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, delegations come in, the security measures are being taken, sir. Otherwise, you can't.
So those are all the things which you have to take care of in the running of the business. It's not just a question of renting out a car. You have
No. Yeah.
So now coming to our final question for you. You are a veteran. You've been here for more than 25 years. And of course, you're going to be here for many, many more years. So is there any change that you would want to see in the travel sector in the upcoming, say, in the next 5 years, having across, at least in Karnataka and South India?
Government, state government should reduce the entry tax of vehicle coming. I can tell you it's a worst part in the country, sir. Each state has their own norms of collecting road tax. They should reduce this to improve the tourism part. Government is only thinking of revenue. What revenue wants government? They don't think of improving the tourism at all, sir.
If you have an all India permit, do you still need to pay taxes in different states?
Yes, sir. Sir, all India permit only to permit the vehicle, but entry tax has to pay. Sir, example I can give you, a bus going to Tamil Nadu. Example, if you take 35 seaters going, I have to pay 850 rupees per seat. Per seat, 850 rupees I have to pay.
My God.
And if, sir, this is okay.
So that is a major change which you would like to see happen.
Yes.
It has to be rationalized. We should not be charging multiple taxes in multiple states, and especially if a vehicle is going, because there are times when you would be probably covering 3 states in one route.
Yes.
You can't be paying at 3 different places.
Yes. Sir, Karnataka government is more than other states. When Tamil Nadu vehicle comes to Karnataka, they pay 1,750 per vehicle, sir, per seat.
1,750
per entry it is. Imagine.
So I can well imagine what kind of stress you all must be going through.
That's why you don't find any tourism people from other state coming into our state, sir. Generally we go. Other state people don't come at all. All this should be reduced, I think.
So that is a major requirement.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Mr. Ramesh, for being with us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you and for sharing your experiences with us. And we will keep in touch with you. And I would only say, please keep smiling the way you do. It's a very inspirational smile. So please keep smiling like this. And thank you for watching this show today. And if you liked it, please don't forget to click on like, share, and subscribe. And see you again next time around with another guest. Till then, take care.